Hello, welcome back to the podcast. There's a few things that I'm going to say that probably feel like they feel absolutely crazy. Like maybe I'll call it the crazy portal. I don't know yet. But I had realized a few things in the last several weeks of like things that I am completely over and never thought I'd ever be over them. So, and this is like in the process of just continuing to change and letting yourself change. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised because I'm always in a constant state of change, as are you. So the things that you absolutely love, believe in, or do day to day, or we should like continue to expect those to change. And those sometimes change faster than others. And they might be more drastic than others. In certain phases, you can't really change that much. In some phases, you can. And I was going through this like portal of change even further as I was starting to realize that different ways that I did things were already starting to like not resonate with me anymore. And a big one was like this energy of like being a backpacker and a traveler and scraping by and just like being super proud of myself for doing those things, which I am. And sometimes I even think back when I was like traveling um, recently and coming up again is that like I was so proud that like I lived out of my backpack for like a year and like toured around and backpacked and just like made it work and all that kind of stuff. And I still am very proud of that. And I always thought, and even mid travel, I was like, I'm gonna be doing this the rest of my life. Like, I cannot wait to just keep doing this. I never want to place again. I never want to travel conventionally again. Like, this is it. And I absolutely believed that. And I loved that. And I didn't think that I would ever like not be that until I was standing in line, coming back from Peru in line to get my passport checked. And so I was on the way back to the US and I had my big second backpack on that I had picked up in Nepal. And I had my hiking shoes from it. I had all my toiletries on. It's like a heavy backpack. Like I had shit in it because I crammed everything else in my other bag. And so I'm like hot. I have a sweat outfit or like my jeans on and my sweatshirt on because I'm saving space for my other backpack, for my other bag. And like that's just kind of what I need to do from backpacking the last time. And so I'm like hot, I'm uncomfortable, I've got a hat on. And I like look back and I see this beautiful lady that is probably in her 60s. I think she was Greek. She was with her family, like she was with her husband. And then I'm assuming her daughter had like 3 kids. And so she had this beautiful sweat outfit on and she was standing there with her sweater over her shoulders, which I was already kind of tapping into Peru of just feeling this like fancy girl kind of vibe. And so she had the sweater over her shoulders. Her hair was like all done. She didn't have any makeup on because this is like crack of dawn, 5 a.m. We're there. So she also was probably on an overnight flight like I was. And then her husband was holding her purse along with their carry-on. She's just like there standing super comfortably, super elegant. And I was just like thinking and feeling myself like holding this huge bag. You know, I'm traveling with somebody that I had to carry their stuff. And so I'm just feeling like extra, like not unsupported, but like in awe of her support. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, whoa, I'm having a completely different desire and like this urge of like experiencing what she was experiencing in any kind of way that I had ever had before. Like previously, all my yearnings were for like backpacking and exploring and going from country to country. And that's the exciting thing of continuing to change, but then also letting yourself go through those life phases and desires fully so then you can get to the next one. So like I went through that experience and those desires fully, completed them, did them, and then realized, wait a minute, now I'm ready for the next set of experiences. And this is coming through in this desire to travel more leisurely and more lightweight and like feel into my elegant energy and to feel supported and cared for and like right now I could give that to myself in my next travel experience. And so sometimes we feel like, oh, I'll just wait until I'm her age, or I'll just like wait until I make a lot of money to be able to do all those things. I'll just wait and to see if I can get into first class, like all this stuff. But like we can unlock those experiences now. And so I was even realizing, I'm like, wait, I have another trip coming up. I'm going to pack and travel way differently than I am now so that I can start to unlock this feeling and go for these other sets of desires that I'm now ready to have and experience. And it comes with the energy first if you allow it. And if you're intuitive and you open up to these things, you'll have this like stir of like, ooh, I really want to do this, or I really want to try this, or I would love to have that experience, or I'm kind of jealous of this person because they are able to do this. Like all of those things are like you're reading into the future field of what you get to experience in the future. And you're just kind of given the little 411 ahead of time to say like, hey, this is coming. Like prep your energy, prep yourself, like dive into these things and let yourself experience this. So I'm like in this phase of permission to like change into this like fancier, more elegant side of myself, which like you can tap into the different versions of you, right? Like you have your sporty self, or maybe it's like even the Spice Girls if you're in that era. So you're like sporty spice and your scary spice, and you have all these different versions of you. And so whatever you haven't really tapped into yet, or something that you'd like to try, see if you can like plummet yourself into that version and see like, okay, if I want to experience this, how do I operate? How do I think? How do I feel? What decisions would I make? How would I dress? All these different stuff. So I have this whole new set of desires that had birthed from this experience, and just this one glance back at this lady. And this lady literally activated so much in me. I didn't talk to her. I didn't do anything with her. I didn't see her only but in line. And I was like, I want to experience that. Like her energy was so powerful and changing for me, where I was like, whoa. And that's where we can get so activated in just going out and about and like going, wherever we're traveling, and it doesn't have to be over country. Like I could have had that activation just walking down the street. But it happened in line in the airport. And so I'm honoring that of like this new era that I get to try on and embrace. And maybe I'll take some of this and maybe I'll take some of that. Like I love the aspect of me that is able to just like grunge it, backpack it, lug it, do everything, plan it all. Like I know I'm good at it. I know that I am effective on that. I know I can do all those things, but I don't really know if I can do those things. And like, yeah, so it's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't even have a how-to for you right now, because it's like, I just am in the stage of recognizing it. And you can recognize a new desire, but have no idea how to get there yet, or how to like fulfill that desire. All you have to do is trust those signs until you get there. So like, okay, I have the feeling. I kind of did that with like when I got my nails done. And so I've got my new little French manicure. So I didn't even realize that until literally right now. So if you've seen the video, that was something like never would do. Always super colorful, super bright, or no nails at all, like, or I'll just like not paint them or whatever. So then when I last got my nails done, I like did a French manicure, and that feels very classy. That feels very elegant. So I was like, ooh, this is weird. I even like stared at my nails, like almost, it's like if someone were like used to doing neutrals and you put like a lime green on their nails and that's how like uncomfortable they are. Like this makes me uncomfortable, and in a really good way. So I'm getting used to a French manicure nail tip. So that's another way that I had like started to like feel into that energy and that frequency. And that's how we get to like just really feel into those different aspects of ourselves and just be like, ooh, I'm going to try that, or I'm going to try this, or I'm going to try this. So yeah, I mean, permission to change. I got activated in line at the airport just by looking at someone. So that's also tells you how powerful you are and how powerful our experiences is to like living our authentic self of like whatever we're feeling in that moment. Like right now, this feels like authentic to me, but maybe in the future it won't. So it can change. And allowing yourself to change is you continuing to be authentic. Not that that past backpack version of me wasn't authentic. That was super authentic to the experience and the at where I was at in that time, honoring that desire, honoring that urge, honoring wanting to accomplish that. That is in that authentic expression. And so that can be like thrown around all the time of like, how do I get to be my authentic self and being your authentic self and all these kinds of stuff. And it's like almost you're trying to get back to like this original core version. I kind of disagree with that thought because yes, we have the core soul self of us, but we're here to experience all these different flavors and colors and frequencies. And so whatever is authentic to you in that moment is also what is authentic. So it's not really trying to ever get to one specific version of yourself and that's it and you can't change. It's actually in the change and allowing that change is that authentic expression. So permission for that, permission for you to go just deep into that however you want. And maybe you're going to be in your fancy girl era. Let me know if you have any tips. I recently had bought a sweater in Peru, and a lot of them, and honestly, Peru kind of surprisingly unlocked more of this for me. It was probably that lady that just really solidified it. But in Peru itself, like they dress nice. They were a little bit more on the conservative side. They wore sweaters over their shoulders. They were very polite. They wore these hats, and it was just very it felt very luxurious, to be honest. Like it felt really nice. And, also in that period I was traveling with my grandma, which is a totally different era in how she dressed and stuff. So I don't know, it just something just sparked in me. And I never thought this was going to be like the next aspect of me, like ever. Like I'm still wanting to get a skateboard. I haven't done that yet, but I'm not saying like I'm fully gonna eliminate other parts of myself, but you can play with and just play with a version where you're like, ooh, what is this gonna feel? And this feels exciting. This feels exciting. It feels abundant. It feels like a new edge, a new version. And I'm excited to see what comes of it. And I just can't believe I can't believe it was just so much of this spark within like watching this lady. And I just was talking about it when I got back. I'm just obsessed with how this lady was. And I'm like, oh, there's something there. There's something that she is emitting in her frequency and in her vibe and the way that she carries herself in her life that like I want aspects of. And that's okay. So when you see somebody next time and you're very drawn to them or you're very envious or you're jealous or whatever, or how did they X, Y, and Z, just know that's like a signal to you to be like, oh, I probably just want to experience some of that. And that's all right. So I will leave you with that. And until then, I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this short little rant about permission to change into fancy girl if you want, or whatever kind of new vibe that you want to embody. So, all right.